precisely here in Houston. Always a privilege to come to you. I like to say good evening. Good evening to all of you tuning in from across the globe. From ground zero, where I know there is morning and also mixed with unbelief. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you also for joining from all of Europe, the continent, Europe, including the United Kingdom. Also, all of you joining in the continent, USA, including Canada. And of course, I won't forget all of you out there in uh, the far and the near east and South America included. Again, ladies and gentlemen, as always, it's a privilege to come to you, and this day happen to be kind of, kind of special, kind of special. I don't know how to make it really. I don't know how to qualify the specialness, but it is a special day. It is a special day. Our Field Marshal, my own brother, Field Marshal of Ambazonia, of Libya, ladies and gentlemen, is no more. Is no more. And the purpose for my coming up today is to explain to you exactly how it went down. It is a very difficult moment, a very, very difficult moment, as it would be for any of you losing a loved one. It is difficult, and I must say, I just hope that I will go through this. I will go through this without cracking up. So please, before I take you into that presentation, I like you as usual to quickly go ahead, hit your share button. Quickly go ahead, hit your share button. Let me see how many of you are tuned in. Let us make it quickly. 1,000 is over, just about 100 and something to get to 1,000. The moment it gets to 1,000, I bring you the presentation. I bring you the presentation, ladies and gentlemen, proper. But in the meantime, let me see what you guys are thinking out there while you hit your share button as quick as possible. Again, I see the numbers really jumping. I see the numbers really jumping. Go ahead and continue hitting your share button. The moment I see 1000, I will bring you this monologue here, and that will be the only thing that I bring to you for the day. There will be no phone calls. There will be no commentary, no guests. I will just do the presentation and take off for the day. So please go ahead and hit your share button. All right, let me see what you are thinking over there. I see power must change hand. Loco Wendy. Oh, the name, this thing is just rushing on my screen. Patricia Osiko, Christian Kumbo, John Black Lex. Okay, see a lot of weeping here. See a lot of weeping here. All right, Tata Konja, I see you. Accept my condolences, Anchorman. That is very difficult. Thank you. Betrana Yok, I see you. Bemando, I see you. Papa Najo, I see you. Otello General, I see you. I see James Molo. Sibia, I see you. Edward Billibang, I see you. Exodus DK, I see you. Sama Aloysius, say Chris be strong. Thank you, sir. Rebecca Ebot, I see you. My Frida, I see you. Formoso Augustine, I see you, sir. Eric Borin, I see you. Jang Mbako, I see you. Please hit your share button. Again, the moment is 1. I see 1000. I will bring you the presentation that I have for the day. I should call it an announcement that I have for the day. I see Richard Abaywe. Thank you for joining, sir. I see also Julie Opoku. Rest in peace, our father of Ambazonia. Frank Best, thank you. Hilary Edith, thank you. Otello General, thank you. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Go ahead and hit your share button again. The moment we have for 100, I will bring you that presentation, and we've hit that number already. We've hit over 1,000 already, and I will not waste your time. I will bring you the presentation that I title Good Night FMA. Good Night FMA. So that is the title of it, ladies and gentlemen. That is the title of it. All right. As your communication secretary of the interim government for all these years, I have become accustomed to bringing you both good news and bad news, condolences and consolation to every family of our fallen heroes of Ambazonia. But this one hits me home really hard, just as has been the case with some of you. Not because the Field Marshall of Ambazonia happened to have been the most revered and celebrated Ambazonian hero, but more so because he happened to be my own brother, my direct follower. Oliver Fobeni happened to be my immediate follower. In our African customs, the young are supposed to bury the old. I was expecting him to be at my memorial and to officiate over it, not the other way around as we have it today. I would never have expected to mount this television set to announce the killing of my own brother, but here I am, and that's what makes it difficult. Field Marshall of Ambazonia, as we all called him, was gone down on the evening of Tuesday, July 12th at around between 5 and 6 p.m. Amber time. But let me make this very clear. FMA wasn't killed by La République du Cameroon occupying soldiers in Libya. Though they hunted him for years, he refused to fall under the barrel of their bayonets. To FMA, La République du Cameroons are mere Boy Scouts and cowards, lacking the skills, the courage, and the mastery of warfare, capable of taking him down. FMA was not killed by ADF fighters either. Some conspirators in the social media have painted that narrative, maybe just to further set divisions among us. None should fall for that. The ADF had no role in the murder of Field Marshall of Ambazonia. Field Marshall's fighters, the Red Dragons, have no accomplices or hands whatsoever in the plot that cut down the life of Field Marshall of Ambazonia. We can authoritatively say that they are all innocent. They have been taken aback just as everyone else. The people of Libya didn't kill their Field Marshal either, contrary to the social media. In situations like this, we must be careful to separate patriots from villains. The overwhelming population of Libya, both in the diaspora and at home, stood with Field Marshall of Ambazonia morally materially, and financially throughout the time that God's grace abound upon him to fight. To suggest that Liberian people killed him is an overstatement and tantamount to painting all with a broad brush. So then, who killed Field Marshall? I guess you all want to know. The people who killed Field Marshall were hired assassins. And yes, they all hail from Liberian. But like Judas Iscariot, they choose money over honor. Like Judas, they were paid from both home and abroad to carry out the deed. Let me state very authoritatively, ladies and gentlemen, that at this moment, as I come to you, we are not only informed of exactly how it all went down, we now know every single collaborator, but particularly to the individual actors who carried out the execution. We know all of their names, their pictures in the bush, where they come from, who sent them, and who paid them. Let me assure all of you, they will have nowhere to hide in Ambazonia and in La République du Cameroon. I'm not going to name them here on television, but trust that they will be named as we lay hands on them one after another. Villagers first spotted them the previous evening, being Monday, July the 11th, as they made inroads into cocoa farms in the vicinity. But the villagers took them for Amber Restoration Forces, or the Red Dragons, because according to the villagers, they were all dressed up looking like Amber Boys, as they call the Restoration Forces. They were all tatteredly dressed and having the appearance of the ARF. Even so, there was an element of strangeness in their appearance. They looked suspicious. The villagers raised an alarm to some fighters who made frantic searches but didn't find them. The following morning, being Tuesday, the day of the execution, July 12th, at around 9 a.m., they emerged from their hideout, picked up two former fighters, Dragons fighters. One had long laid down arms since 2018, and the other had left the camp only 2 months. The assassins were four of them in number at this point. And all the four have at one time or another been fighters of the Red Dragons. But they had all left the struggle for a period ranging from 1.5 years to 4 years to become blacklegs, joining ranks with La République du Cameroun bees for all these years. After picking up the two escorts and having them severely tortured, their hands tied behind their backs, a piece of cloth wrapped in the mouth of the other, they hurled him behind the building and demanded that he must lead them to FMA's location. I will spare you all of the details here. As they took off for Field Marshall's location, the four assassins were now joined at this time by 4 others, disguised equally as Amber Boys with face masks. These ones were La République du Cameroun soldiers, 4 of them. The entire team was now 10 in number, that is, including the 2 escorts. We gathered that somewhere close to Field Marshall's location, all the 4 La République du Cameroun masked soldiers decided to stay back. They won't go up to FMA's location. The 4 former ambers proceeded, avoiding all the traps and camps in the area and surprising FMA from the direction he least expected. They gunned him down from a distance like a sniper. He slumped backward and fell on his back. After observing he wasn't going to wake up, it was then they now walked to the scene and smashed his face. After the mission was accomplished, the assassins radioed the 4 LRC La Republique soldiers waiting down the forest. Jubilation started. The rest of the dragons, hearing the sound of the first gunshot, began mobilizing from their nearby bases to that location. The first person to show up was ambushed and killed, slaughtered. The rest found a way of escape. Immediately, the La Republique du Cameroon army, hiding in the forest, alerted their bosses. The assassins too began to call their friends and collaborators around La Republique, their fellow blacklists and enablers, to report their exploits. And the enablers immediately took it to the social media, putting out this story. Unfortunately for the assassins, their collaborators, the same collaborators, would not hide their identities. By Wednesday morning, the 13th of July, over 400 occupying soldiers of La Republique had descended on the outskirts of the vicinity. FMA had been located. They had mobilized in the hundreds to secure safe landing for the helicopter that will transport the remains of Field Marshall to Kumba. Upon landing in Kumba, they took the body to the military barracks before driving it in a parade for public view at what is called the Sec Junction. And that was FMA's last journey, ladies and gentlemen. It is indeed very difficult for me to narrate this story, but it isn't my family's story only. It is the story of many families, many comrades and homes who have lost their dear ones in this war. They may not have been field marshals, but they were someone's brothers, someone's sisters, sons and daughters too. But fellow Ambazonians, this is war, and people die in war, especially if they are in the front lines. Make no mistake, Field Marshal took up arms on his own volition to fight for and to defend Ambazonia, knowing that he could become the ultimate sacrifice. He was ready. He was ready for it. He gave his all, plus his life, for this, because it pains. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm sorry, but it hurts. We will miss him. We will miss him in our family. But we have no regrets. He's gone. People do not disappear to heaven. They die to get there. Freedom is never bought with water. It is bought with blood. Heroes and martyrs pay for it with their blood. If it's going to take much more blood, even my own, to free the southern Cameroons, so that those we leave behind can have and live in a free country of their own, so be it. Let's take particular note of this. Field Marshall of Ambazonia wasn't the Red Dragons. The Red Dragons are a team, but they are wounded. If you truly admired, loved, and supported Field Marshall of Ambazonia, the best thing you can do now is to support his legacy, the Red Dragons. If the Red Dragons die, then Field Marshal is truly dead and the enemies rejoice. As the saying goes, you hit the shepherd and the sheep scatters. Will you allow this to happen? Will you? I have spoken to all of the members of the Red Dragons on a daily basis. And all they want to do now is to avenge their master and to prove to the enemies that the Red Dragons are not about FMA, but a team. I urge all of you listening to the sound of my voice to support them. Moral support isn't enough. They need material and financial support the most. Please, do not say you love Field Marshal if you won't support the Red Dragons. That's their immediate need. Now, a word to all the Ambazonia Restoration Forces still out there. There is no doubt Field Marshal of Ambazonia was such a great inspiration and motivation to you all. He touched some of you directly and others indirectly. He shared most of what he made, most of what he had with most of you. Some of you traveled hundreds of kilometers to go get training in Libya. This moment can be one of the lowest to all of you, and it is understandable. It can be very, very demoralizing and depressing. But I urge you to remain strong, defend and fight for your own free country. Who knows, you could be the one that ushers or lead the way to Boya. Who knows? If you give up, La République du Cameroon will kill you. You don't give up, they will still fight to kill you. But what if you are the one to take us to Boya? There is a saying, winners never quit and quitters will never win. This is not the time to quit. It's a time to more than ever before resolve for victory. Nothing but victory. Fellow Ambazonians, as I stated from the beginning, make no mistake, we know all the killers of FMA. We know the diaspora that paid for the killing. We equally know the colonial Libyan elite and politicians who sponsored it too. I can promise them that they are not going to hear from us. They will not just hear from us, they are going to see us. Take that to the bank. You are now declared fugitives, not just in Libya, but in all of Ambazonia and foreign lands, including La République du Cameroon. We will locate all of you, beginning from the killers to the ones who paid for it, and use all of you for example for others to learn. You have wounded all of Ambazonia, not just FMA and his family. You will have no place in Ambazonia. Ambazonians, let me seize this opportunity to declare a new and urgent front in this war. It is called the war against blacklegs and enablers. They live in Yaoundé, they live in Boya, they live in Bamenda, and they live in the diaspora. They also masquerade as elite and cultural and development associations. If these cultural associations will not identify and sympathize with the suffering masses under the yoke of a war our people didn't choose, we should have no need, ladies and gentlemen, no need for anything for now, like for these cultural and development associations. They should be banished everywhere in Ambazonia until this war is over. They are made up of spies and sponsors of murders. Anybody caught promoting any cultural and development association with members mostly siding with La République du Cameroon in this wartime, should be treated as enemies. And anything that bears their names must be wiped off the face of the earth. I think the moment has come that we'll face these enablers before finishing with La République du Cameroon. There should be an all-out war against all perceived enemies of this struggle, from the diaspora to homeland. And to the BLM people, I say to you, you are a brave and courageous people. You didn't kill your own hero. Greed and a yearning for power, control, and position from a very tiny fragment of you killed him. For you, especially at home, we remember your sacrifices to FMA and the Red Dragons. We still remember how you donated plantains, you donated cocoyams, you donated bananas, beans, cassava, gari, palm oil, palm wine, beer, chickens, pigs, and goats for food to sustain them in the heat of the BLM. You have been great. Great. But listen to me, do not be fooled. Again, do not be fooled. Let nobody deceive you that Fontem or the BLM Fontem in particular is now open up. Take my word to the bank and do not risk your life and family returning to a war zone. The BLM, like every other county in Ambazonia, remains a war zone. People clearing up schools, preparing for resumption in September, while this war rages on, will pay. In a minute, they will pay with their lives. Please take this from me. Keep your children where they are. If they are schooling there, let them stay there. I have read a promotion in which they are telling you that the first 200 students to show up in GHS Menji will study free with all their books provided for. Don't fall for it. Your children will die. La République du Cameroon army cannot protect them. We have also just learned that a new colonial SDO has been appointed for the BLM and will be installed one of these days. Our message to you, sir, whosoever you are, is that you learn from your immediate predecessor. If you love your life, sir, stay in Chang. Stay in Chang. You will have no problem. To Ambazonia, Field Marshall was a mere person and a phenomenon. The Southern Cameroon struggle is an idea. You can kill a person. You can kill a star. But you can't kill an idea. Field Marshall may be gone, but many more Field Marshals who embrace this idea of a free and independent Southern Cameroon's Ambazonia of their own, where they can have employment without somebody profiling them from their language, they will rise up. Many more will rise up. Let's all shame La République du Cameroon. We still have close to 8 million standing. Let's fight to that last man standing. I urge all of you young men and women to stand up, arise, and fight for your children. You can only be hailed and remembered when you die fighting for something. Those who killed Field Marshall shall never be remembered. They will die like dogs. But FMA lives among us forever, even though he is gone. Let me end this with this. I learned of the story of this old man. He had lived a pretty long and good life. When it was time for him to die, God inspired him with the last words to his two sons. He happened to be a God-fearing man. One of his sons was, however, very obstinate. He was like the prodigal son who never returned home. He would not accept Christ in all the long years of his father. But the other one was very God-fearing like his father. When the father was about to die, his last words to the rebellious one was, "Bye-bye." And to the God-fearing son, the father said to him, "Good night." Bye-bye and good night to both of the sons. What does that mean? What does it pass across? Bye-bye means we may never see again. But good night resonates hope. It means when it is morning, we will see or meet again. I can say good night to FMA, my brother, the Ambazonian hero. The BLM says good night to you. Ambazonia stands for you and bid you a good night too. And should you happen to meet Indele and Jua, Jangu Focha, Abed Bukok, Pa Ayaba, Muna Litumba, and all the patrons of Ambazonia who went ahead, tell them, you led a generation that will redeem them. Thank you. Good night.
God, so we can rule from Cape to Cairo. You must free my people's hands, so we can rule our purpose land. I wanna know who owns the land. Who wanna know who owns the land? Okay, now listen carefully. Chinese are ruling the Chinese land. Japan is ruled by Japanese. England is governed by Englishmen. America is governed by Americans. So, Africa must be ruled by Africans. I wanna know who owns the land. We must rule from Cape to Cairo. We must rule our purpose land. I say, we want to know who owns the land. power belongs to my God. Hey. All the enemies of Ambazonia, when I plan them don't fail. Yes. Because with a fight, a winning battle. And with God will take us right up to the end. Now me see myself for Ambazonia at the top. Yes. Madam Minister of Defense, Reverend Asum, Madam President, Madam Arianta, God bless you. Mr. Vice President, Dr. Abomba Harrison, when I hold on tight. Yes, I come back inside Amazonian for ground zero. I'm Grandpa Valley. My brother, hold on tight. Send a Field Marshall of Ambazonia at the top. I'm no pity. Mamatunja. Hey, my brother, hold up tight. I'm Field Marshall of Ambazonia